Welcome everyone to episode 69. Pro wrestling is nice of the Chris Parrish podcast. My name is Chris Parrish. And first off, we know what the schedule is. We must thank everyone who has helped out the Chris Parrish podcast. That's right, the sponsors. And if you look over there, I always get that wrong. Don't know why. First off, we got to give a big thanks to beercadewhyte, located at 10544 82nd Ave in the Edmonton area. They are playing WrestleMania nights 1 and 2 for free for everyone. So if you want to book your table, make sure you go and reserve it at either their telephone number or beercadewhyte on Instagram, beercadeyeg on X, or on beercadewhyte on Facebook. And if you want to go up to the link below at affiliation.my.canva or affiliationprogram.my.canva.site, you can go check out the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. You can go find out everyone who's involved in the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. You can learn to see how you can start your journey of starting content creation, podcasting, or even continuing your journey through potential collaborations with everyone involved in the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. That's right. Later, you will see a video of all the shows that are involved in the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. So stay tuned and you will see more of what you could possibly be attached to. We also want to give a shout out to the people in the chat. We got Don Lewison. What's up, y'all? We got BRS Entertainment. Good afternoon, Parrish. You're got you on the background while I work on my shows. I'm always on the background. When can I ever be the main attraction, bro? Don Lewis coming in saying, don't miss the Boar's Nest tonight at 8 p.m. We have a big surprise tonight, but this is not an announcement for other shows. This is the Chris Parrish podcast, as we are here to talk about the week of professional wrestling. Also, on the docket tonight, I have 10 creative ideas that I would do if I was in charge of creative. That's right. This past week, we've learned that WWE is hiring writers, creative, for their company. And guess what? I don't have a schooling or maybe TV experience, but WWE, I got this big list right here. And I just want to say it's not too shabby. So if you are listening and you think, hey, how about we check out this guy? I think that's a good idea. But also, I want to talk about, the second teasers that we got for both Aleister Black and Rey Fenix. That's right. It has been official from multiple sources that Rey Fenix and Aleister Black have, in fact, signed with the WWE. And then the vignettes we're seeing with the smoke clearing with the number 4, that is Aleister Black, also known as Malachi Black, also known as Tommy End, for all you nerds. There, just kidding. You're not nerds, but I wanted to shout out Luke Ellis. We also have Rey Fenix with the fiery, that orange promo. We saw a little bit more about his shadowy figure there. We saw kind of like not so much the details, but the inner outlines of the detail of the shape of the mask. So that is something to note. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking, well, if Rey Fenix and Penta were supposed to be a tag team, are they going to tag team? And why is Penta on Raw, but these vignettes are on SmackDown? Well, there is a draft coming after WrestleMania, and this could just all be just foreshadow, or it could just be smoke and mirrors, because yes, they are coming to WWE, but just because they're on SmackDown, on Raw, we don't know. So wait and see as we get closer to WrestleMania. We'll get a little bit more clarity on these scenarios, but let's just all be happy that both Aleister, Malachi Black, and Rey Fenix are WWE, which is going to be a lot of fun. We also saw and heard the words of one John Cena making his way back to the live WWE universe after doing the unthinkable, turning heel and breaking all our hearts. He basically said he's breaking up with the WWE universe. He was a victim of a toxic relationship, and how all the fans, all the universe does is take and take and take. And every time John Cena comes to their city, they're like, oh, what is he going to give me? Anytime he does anything, then all the people ask, what is he going to give me? They never ask what he wants or how he's doing. John Cena definitely having a side of his story. I think it's a lot of fun. The only question that we never got answered in this whole thing is why he chose to align himself with The Rock. So it's going to be very intriguing to see kind of what he does next, because that's always kind of the thought now is, yeah, one thing happens, but we always know there is a reaction to that thing. So we could speculate all we want, but what we do know is that he is advertised for more shows in the next couple months. So we'll get a lot more answers. All we have to do is open up your ears and shut our mouths. Unless you're there live, you can boo the living snot out of them, just like Brussels did, because they were amazing, just like the fans in Bologna, Italy. Anytime Randy Orton comes out, how do you not want to just listen to that European crowd sing his theme song? It is fantastic. Also, multiple other wrestlers got new theme songs, as we have Bastard coming in. Good day, my man. I don't know why I read that good day, my son, but good day, Bastard. How are you doing? How's your Sunday morning going? How is the weather outside in the Saskatchewan area? We're finally getting nice weather here in Alberta. It is pleasant. But yeah, I mean, Randy Orton. His theme song is pretty iconic. So is the Street Profits. A lot of people are not liking the new Street Profits theme. Bastard coming in saying, it's a little ugly out here today, but it's a good day to chill. Well, I mean, chilling is not too shabby. I like to chill. I think the social media universe needs to chill on their reactions to the Street Profits new theme, because one, it's new. Let things just cook a little bit. Let it linger. Let's see if it matches the soon, like the champions now. Let's see if it actually matches the personalities. Let's see if it matches the direction that the Street Profits go. Yes, right now Street Profits seem to be back and forth of whether or not they're fun going or whether or not they're very serious. So they were very serious on their quest to become tag team champions. They had a little bit more of a lighten up mood when they won the title. So let's just give it some time. Now, we all love that original OG theme song, but let's pump the brakes. I know it's easy to hate on Def Rebel right now because they don't do anything good, except for the Roman Reigns theme. They kind of hit a home run on. Yeah, that was pretty good. Now, are they the best? No, that's why their contracts aren't being renewed, people. They will one day not be a part of WWE. It's going to be a thing. But for right now, they are. And it's not like Def Rebel is trying to be bad. Or they just are making music that does not really vibe with everyone. Whether it's the fans, sometimes it's not the wrestlers. Bailey has been like so, But I thought Piper Niven's new music really fits her. I like it. So it's something that, like, you take the good, you take the bad, but eventually, like, I don't know, for every bad theme song, I think they do okay. And also Zelina Vega got new music. I don't know if it vibes yet for me, but it's something I got to get to know kind of the direction of Zelina Vega before I really start crapping on the music. I think that's something I gotta figure out. Give it about a month, give it about a 2 months time. If you start seeing kind of more direction with that performer, maybe you get the music a little bit more. CBRS Entertainment coming in with the exception of the Superstars you mentioned, Def Rebel's music just doesn't resonate with me. Yeah, that's a personal experience or opinion though. That's something that a lot of people do say though. But there's also a lot of people that don't bitch about it online. And that's kind of where I'm getting at. Like there's a lot of people that are taking to social media that are just there to say, I don't like this. I want the old one back. Like, man, like give it time to develop too. Just because you don't like it initially doesn't mean you'll hate it eventually. Now, there might be times where that's the case, but there's going to be times where, time will change your opinion. Now, do I personally like Def Rebel? If I'm basing it on everything they do, I'd give them a thumbs down. However, I can appreciate some good things that they do. Now, imagine this. Imagine Def Rebel leaves WWE, whoever that new, whether group, person, whatever the case may be, but whenever that new music developer comes in, or that composer, and they want to erase all Def Rebel music, do you guys want to see Roman Reigns have new music? I'll wait for you guys to answer that one, because I think what Roman Reigns has is his best music he's ever had. Yes, that list is small, but what he has is pretty iconic to who he is. And I can't imagine him with anything else now. So there's going to be some examples of Def Rebel that are good. So that's something to kind of take note. Even like the soon to be returning JD McDonough. I like his theme. It's a good one. There's some good stuff with there. But yeah, for the most part, I am with the majority. I would like to see something different. Yes, the vibe to what we have doesn't work. I think a lot of people can say, look at the Royal Rumble and say, hey, there's not a lot of reaction. Now, I can tell you this past Rumble, not the case. There were reactions all over the map. So it's going to be something. I mean, it goes back to my wanting to see WWE do something like they did with WWE Studio, but do WWE music to where they have an open collaboration with everybody in the terms of music. And that music can be used to help either performers, the artists, or it could be used as entrance themes. It could be used as show themes. It could be used as PLE themes. It could be used as music that changes what we see on Netflix every time there's a commercial break, and we don't have that for 3 to 5 minutes every 10 to 12 minutes. But at the same time, we'll see what they do. I mean, WWE is always trying to do something bigger and better as the days go on. So that's something to take note. Another thing we saw this week was a fantastic Intercontinental title match between Finn Balor and Braun Breaker. And I thought this was the first time I kind of wanted Finn Balor to win the Intercontinental Championship. Now, the story with the Judgment Day, with all the cracks in the foundation, especially between Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio, we saw a segment on Raw which had Dominic Mysterio being thanked by Finn for the match. And then Dominic Mysterio asked Finn about what if we had Penta to the Judgment Day? And this comes directly after Penta defeats Ludwig Kaiser in a no-holds-barred match and then declares himself that he's going after the Intercontinental Championship. Finn Balor didn't like that, seeing how Penna just said he wanted the Intercontinental Championship. Finn Balor was assuming he was going to win the title. And then he's like, now I got to deal with a guy in my group wanting my title. Like, doesn't make sense. Carlito, with his hilarious one line to Dom, you got to watch the show, dude. Only to lead to Dominic Mysterio being called a snake by Finn Balor, which was a real first shot taken by Finn Balor directly to Dom. So you have to wonder, A, how long that's going to happen. But this was a real first time where I thought, hey, maybe Dom would take that to heart and the Judgment Day would really help Finn become Intercontinental Champion. In fact, what we saw was Dominic Mysterio accidentally costing Finn Balor the championship. So it's going to make for great television this week. So the thing I'm saying is, who do we realistically believe will be that person to take that Intercontinental Championship off Braun Breaker? Because I don't see Braun Breaker really being an Intercontinental Champion type of guy much longer. The reason why I say this is because I do see him eventually moving kind of up. Not necessarily title-wise, but at least feud-wise. And I say that because I think we have a group of people that we associate the Intercontinental title, the U.S. title with, and then we group other people to like feuds or the World Heavyweight title. Like, for example, do we really think Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton are going to be Intercontinental Champion in the next year? I don't. I kind of look at them above it. Not that the Intercontinental title is below them. I just look at the Intercontinental Champion as someone who's on the up and up. For example, guys like Ludwig Kaiser, guys like Penta, guys like Chad Gable, guys like Sheamus when the story is fitting because it's the one title that's eluded them. Guys like Otis, guys really who haven't established themselves much and need a championship or need that prominent title. Sami Zayn is another one. It always seems like the Intercontinental Championship realigns Sami Zayn's trajectory. So that's really all I'm saying. Now, I said about 17 minutes ago, you were going to get a video showcasing you what we see on the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to hold up my end of the bargain, and you guys are going to get this video to see what shows you can become affiliated to if you choose to go to affiliationprogram.my.canva.site.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. All times are in Eastern Time. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m., followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Thursday we got total non-stop action with Brace for Impact at 8 p.m. Friday we game again with Unleashed, the Jessica Wilde story at 7 p.m. Following the game, join us for the SmackDown Security Detail at 8 p.m. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. On Sunday be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. followed by the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
Now, once again, that link is affiliationprogram.my.canva.site. Now, on a scheduling note for the Boar's Nest that you can find later tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, make sure you want to tune into that because I know that Bubba Duke has some important news that he wants to share. So make sure you're checking out to the Boar's Nest tonight at 8 p.m. Before we hit the video, Chris Best came in and saying, I agree, Braun will eventually become that guy who we can see becoming champion. But in the near future, I only see him in the conversation for challenging for that belt title. Belt, hold up your pants. But I'm at say WrestleMania. I do think Braun Breaker will eventually lose his championship to who we don't know. We did get a teaser that at the end of Raw, it could be Braun versus Penta. Now, I think that only confirms one of two things. One, that's most likely the eventual match we see at WrestleMania, and two, the debut of Rey Fenix will be after WrestleMania. Because if we get Rey Fenix beforehand, it won't be anything with Penta. Now, will it be anything with Penta, or will he be on his own? That remains to be seen. But I just don't see Rey Fenix debuting with the WWE on a visual scale before WrestleMania if Penta is in a singles championship match. Speaking of WrestleMania, we did find out on Friday that Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton is official. That is right. When Kevin Owens came to the ring, he wanted Randy Orton to forgive him. He was wrong. He wanted, instead of a fight to the death, he wanted to reconnect our KO and go after the tag team title, something they should have done because they came so close the last time they did that. And for about a millisecond, Randy Orton thought about that and said no, he rather punts Kevin Owens' head off his shoulders. So that is where we're at with Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. I think this is one of those stories that eventually just need an all-out brawl before WrestleMania, because I don't think this is something that we want to see much talking anymore. Even a potential tag team, like let's give Randy Orton and Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens on an episode of SmackDown, just so they can get in the ring. There is something there. We don't need to hear them talk, but we also don't get the, the big brouhaha that everyone else gets. Now, I do think it would help them, but I do think it's something to stand alone. And then we can have a big brouhaha with both teams, and it's not done twice. It's only done once. That is just my idea. Now, segue to my 10 creative ideas I would do in WWE. And I will say, people, I'm aware that this list has a lot of groups in it. However, before I say anything else, the reason why is because I do think we have a lot of talent in WWE. I think there can be room for more groups. I do think there should be more groups. And with the bloodline kind of going in their own ways, we're kind of losing out on that group with, with kind of that LWO not really doing too much. It's really hard to say that they're a group, especially with Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee teaming, and then we have Cruz and Del Toro teaming. It doesn't really seem like they're really a group. They're just under a banner, per se. And then we lost, obviously, Hurt Business due to releases. We've lost certain acts because of injuries. We've lost certain things because of other releases. So this is why I kind of decided let's have a little bit more groups. That way you can kind of pinpoint who your single stars are a little bit more. Not to say that the people in groups can't be single stars, but you kind of see where I'm going. Standalone acts. I'm going to put this in no specific order, but I am going to go 10-1 here. At number 10, I got Austin Theory has been doing a lot of segments with Grayson Waller to where he's being a little bit more fun. He's pandering to the crowd a little bit more. And this this is kind of ticking Grayson Waller off. Now, this eventually, I think, will lead to him ticking off that one person that doesn't take too kindly to it. And one person I think that this is going to go to is Logan Paul. Now, I don't think this is before WrestleMania because I do think Logan Paul versus AJ Styles will be added to WrestleMania. Now, I think this would be really funny because Austin Theory could then just poke fun at people that didn't win at WrestleMania. Logan Paul comes in, he makes fun of Logan Paul. Logan Paul kind of challenges him to a match. Now, we just want to see kind of Logan Paul get beat up because we don't really like Logan Paul, but at the same time, allow Austin Theory to kind of shine like a comedic star in this a little bit. Where he's fun loving, we're kind of bringing our guard down and we're accepting Austin Theory a little bit. Anyway, the match set, Logan Paul versus Austin Theory. And as this match is going down, what we do see is something definitive where Grayson Waller goes from being, okay, I'm on the side of Austin Theory, but at the same time, I got to make a decision. We see Austin Theory get blindsided by Grayson Waller, who cost him the match against Logan Paul because Logan Paul and Grayson Waller joined forces by replacing Austin Theory. Now, for a bit, we see kind of a 2-on-1. And for that night, it's a standalone. We're like, oh my God, why? Grayson, why? Next week comes in, Austin Theory goes on the mic. He has his Logan Paul interrupts and gets blindsided by Grayson Waller. It's a 2-on-1 beatdown. And the person who I think will really do wonders on solidifying Austin Theory as a babyface here is the ultimate babyface in Sami Zayn. That's right. Sami Zayn comes down. He helps Austin Theory, and moving forward, now we have, it's maybe a tag team thing going, but eventually this kind of leads to Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, and then in retrospect, maybe Logan Paul versus Sami Zayn, because we all know one of two things. One, that would be a good match. Two, we know how well Sami Zayn does with people like Logan Paul. He helps elevate them, and I think this just works on so many levels. Plus, I don't see Sami Zayn being in a championship right now, but in something to where he can shut somebody up. I think the fans would appreciate that, especially if that person is Logan Paul. At number 9, I have Tyler Breeze making his return to WWE in an in-ring way. And the first part of business he does is he recruits Pretty Deadly. Yes, this is after the draft, and Pretty Deadly may or may not be tag champions. I wouldn't have them as champions in this scenario. At first, we don't know if they're, good guys, bad guys. All we do know is that they're together. And the first line of business is, we see Otis and Tozawa, Pretty Deadly. They have a tag match. Breeze helps Pretty Deadly go up. And then as this could be like maybe a stare down, what we do see is Maxine blindsides Alpha Babes, turns on them. She doesn't have to get physically involved, but what she can do is do something strong enough to where she maybe, I don't want to say dumps because we just saw John Cena dump them, but maybe she just in whatever way aligns herself with Tyler Breeze and Pretty Deadly, because I believe Tyler Breeze always gave you Zoolander type vibes, and I get very similar vibes with Pretty Deadly at times, especially a heel Pretty Deadly. So you can bring back the selfie stick. You can bring something in for Pretty Deadly. But the one thing I have, Maxine, she's known to have her model agency, as she had the Maximum Male Models earlier. She could have something like that, bring it back. But now she has Tyler Breeze and Pretty Deadly. And we have that moving forward. Not to mention, Pretty Deadly can do something with Otis and Tozawa right away. This allows somebody to kind of maybe join them at some point. I don't know who. I didn't really think that way, but It was more to just solidify the group of Maxine, Breeze, Pretty Deadly. At number 8, I have Gallus being drafted to Raw or SmackDown. More or less SmackDown here, because I do think SmackDown is going to be the home of who they ultimately align with, and that is Drew McIntyre. Now, I think Drew McIntyre has kind of taken the back seat on any heavyweight championship scenarios kind of in the last year or so. We all know at WrestleMania 40, he won the championship from Seth Rollins and then ultimately got it taken away from him by CM Punk with the cash-in of Damian Priest. Now, I wouldn't mind in 2025 we're seeing Drew McIntyre getting back into that world title scene. And I think being aligned with some heavy muscle in Gallus helps protect Drew McIntyre from any white noise that the WWE can bring. Now, this would be a very heavy group with Joe and Mark Coffey, with Wolfgang. Not a lot of people are going to get by this group, so you need somebody. You need a big-time group to combat with that, which I think we could do in WWE easily, especially if you want to turn somebody like Jacob Fatu babyface down the road. That is something I would like to see. So yeah, Gallus with Drew McIntyre. I originally had maybe Alba Fire joining this to have like a female presence, but now with her joining Chelsea Green and Piper Niven in that, I kind of steered away because I want to see more of what that does. At number 7, I have a very intriguing one. After WrestleMania, we have a backstage segment or maybe a film segment, and it's basically, they could be at dinner, they can be wherever, but it's Gunther having a one-on-one conversation with Ludwig Kaiser, and we get a little personal in this conversation, but it's ultimately Gunther bestowing Imperium onto Ludwig Kaiser, basically saying, I am a world champion superstar in WWE now, and I need to focus on that. What you need to focus on is your quest on becoming a champion. And just like me, I had Imperium helping me guide my way to becoming a champion. So I'm bestowing the power of Imperium to you. You are now the leader of Imperium. It is now your brainchild. So do with it what you will. Now, I am always going to be in that back looking in. So when things get too serious, I will step in. But for now, I'm going to walk away and leave it to you, Ludwig Kaiser. And then aligns himself with Pete Dunne and a returning Tyler Bate. Right now, just like Imperium, starts off as a 3-man group. I'm thinking down the road, when the superstar eventually returns, you can get kind of like a Roderick Strong type inclusion, the way he joined the Undisputed Era with Ilya Dragunov. That's right, the New Age Imperium is Ludwig Kaiser, Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, and Ilya Dragunov. We talked about a draft after WrestleMania, and I think one person that could be drafted to Raw or SmackDown is all ego Ethan Page. I don't see much of what more he could do in NXT. I thought what he did with Javion Evans was fantastic. But I have him being drafted. And with LA Knight being a United States champion, I love the fact that he is a fighting champion. I think after the draft, it would only make sense that LA Knight issues an open challenge for the United States Championship to establish he is that fighting champion. Only for his first night on SmackDown, Ethan Page debuts, answers the challenge, and defeats LA Knight and becomes United States champion on his first night of SmackDown, very similar to the way Carlito did it against John Cena. This would allow Ethan Page and LA Knight to have a program. I kind of work a few months over that United States Championship, and it's a great way to establish Ethan Page on your show. Another post-draft scenario I have is Braun Breaker eventually being on the same show as Roman Reigns. So what I have is a match that somehow is there with Braun Breaker and Roman Reigns. I think just like the past, we've been seeing opportunities arise where, just like on Monday, we see Penta and Braun Breaker stare at each other with the Intercontinental Championship. We didn't really know we wanted that match until we saw it dangled in front of our eyes. And what I like is after WrestleMania, sometimes we get something very similar. What happens if this scenario is Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns? This is the one time I think we're going to see Paul Heyman maybe fear for Roman. And this is going to show you a lot of similar comparisons to when Brock Lesnar fought the Big Show. I think Paul Heyman looks at Braun Breaker as the next Roman Reigns. And with his meteoric rise so far, he might be worried for Roman. So when these two eventually have their match, a la Survivor Series, where Paul Heyman turned on Brock Lesnar and joined Paul White, the Big Show, he does it again. He turns on Roman Reigns and aligns himself as the new mouthpiece, as the new wise man, advocate, whatever you want to call him, to Braun Breaker. Because at this point, I don't think Roman Reigns needs Paul Heyman as much as maybe the fans want that duo together. If we're moving away from Bloodline in terms of a group, in terms of everything else, I think we can do something similar here with that connection. Also, Roman Reigns, instead of saying OTC, now has a shirt that says YTC, your tribal chief. Your can now refer to the WWE Universe, not Paul Heyman. I think it's just something that we can go with. It's a great way to start elevating Braun Breaker to that next level, the next chapter in what, and that is becoming a future champion. At number 4, I got Aleister Black making his return. But does he come alone? I don't think so. We've seen the number 4 in his video. Now, last week on episode 68, I let people know that this number 4 could be very similar to when he was in WWE the last time. And he was reading chapters. And he ended up in chapter 3 the last time we saw him in WWE. But what happens if this isn't a book? He's showcasing that he's coming, and it's going to be him and 3 other people. Maybe it's 4 acts. Maybe it's him plus 4 more. Who's to say? All we know, or all I know, is that the number 4 is going to make you wonder. However, I have him coming back, teaming up with the War Raiders, with a debuting on the main roster Stephanie Vakir, with a rehired Killian Dane. Anybody who doesn't know Killian Dane, former member of Sanity, also real life husband to Nikki Cross. So we would have Black, Dane, Raiders, Vakir. This is a group that I think could combat the Gallus and Drew McIntyre. This is a group I think could combat a Wyatt 6. This is the group that I think could go up against a Judgment Day, any group, easily. So that leaves us at number 3. Number 3, I got kind of a 1 and 2 kind of deal. So it's 3 and 2. But at 3, I have Dominic Mysterio betraying the Finn Balor. Whether or not it's a match, whether or not it's a match where maybe they have the leadership of Judgment Day on the line or something like that. All I know is Dominic Mysterio does what he did to Rhea Ripley to Finn Balor. Kind of one of those scenarios where we got 2 snakes and you just got to stab the other one before they stab you. We've seen the Demon Balor kind of being Easter egged in the background of the Judgment Day segments, and I think the only way you do that is if Finn Balor is not a bad guy. So we have Dominic Mysterio kicking out Finn Balor, and he doesn't kick out Finn Balor really by himself. He has help. He has help from people he recruited. He has help from Santos Escobar and from Los Garza. People he's bringing in. People that he can trust. People that he knows. They're from his side of the world, but also they turn his back on his deadbeat dad. When they were part of the LWO, they turned on Rey Mysterio. So there's a trust there. Now, this also allows them to kick out Carlito, to hurt him, injure him, do what they can to write him off. So now, Judgment Day consists of Santos, Dominic Mysterio, Raquel, Los Garza, and Liv Morgan. So 5, right? We would see then the return of JD McDonough, who would then side with Finn Balor. I don't think JD McDonough, I don't know how he can return as anything other than a good guy based on the last time we saw him. We know that they're still down a few, but what we do know is that Raquel is chasing after the Women's Intercontinental Championship. So this, in essence, kind of brings Lyra Valkyria into the fold. Now, the one person we know Lyra Valkyria is connected with is somebody that is soon to return to WWE in Becky Lynch. Liv Morgan has gone on record saying she has retired Becky Lynch. Bring that back, and we have now connected Liv and Raquel to Becky and Lyra. We have 2 people in JD and Finn. I would have them recruit Sheamus in. Yes, notice the pattern. It's an all-Irish group. Why? The Judgment Day is like family. The Wyatt 6 is like family. The bloodline was all about family. I think this Irish faction could feel like an Irish family. Now you'd have Sheamus, you'd have Finn, you'd have JD McDonough. That could combat your at least 3 out of the 4 men on the Santos, or Los Santos, Escobar, and Dom. You then have the women cancel each other out, so you're only 1 person short. So I think this is an opportunity that you can do to bring in somebody from that neck of the woods, or maybe somebody from that area. You be the judge. But basically, it's Finn Balor putting together an Irish group to combat with the Judgment Day, led by Dominic Mysterio. That's right. Dominic Mysterio would become the new leader of the Judgment Day. And also, I kind of like it because there's always this fighting up to get to Dom, which then would put more heat on Dom because he can use the number games to his advantage. But it's the Demon Balor that comes out that could equal the playing field and give them the advantage. So that was kind of number 2 and 1 because 3 and 2, sorry. Because I would have the betraying of the Judgment Day and then the creation of this Irish faction. And the number 1 I would have is Natalya winning the 2025 Queen of the Ring. But it's not very simple like that. It's not this underdog story. It is until the finals. She gets in the finals and maybe she goes up against Bayley in the finals. Maybe she goes up against Lyra Valkyria. Maybe she goes up against Alexa Bliss or, whoever. But a baby face. In the finals, we see a very much like a Clash at the Castle, Roman versus Drew scenario, where we see a debut. We see a main roster debut. And that person helps Natalya cheat to become Queen of the Ring. That person is NXT standout Sol Ruca. And what I love about this is now we have who a lot of people has deemed to be a future of women's pro wrestling, aligned herself with one of the all-time greats in women's pro wrestling. And this starts what is to become Natalya's Queen's Foundation, where she then aligns with Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade to be kind of like that tag team of the group. And this allows Natalya to have, just like her uncle Brett did. Now, without it being family based, it's all about the future of professional wrestling on the women's end. And then now you have the Queen's Foundation that sees Natalya Neidhart at the helm with Sol Ruca as your standout. You got your tag team in Cora and Roxanne. And just for good measure, you could have somebody like a Beth Phoenix or Tamina kind of being that heater for Natalya. So right there, I got 10, I think, intriguing ideas that could change the landscape of the WWE as we know it. Let me know what you think either in the comments or in the comments after the show's done. But let me know, which ones did you like? Which ones didn't you like? Do you have any ones of your own or any alterations of the ones I said? I would like to know. That is very intriguing to me because, as we know, I think there's nothing better than having this creative thinking process when it comes to professional wrestling. But I'm very intrigued to see kind of where we go post-draft. I think that's kind of the whole idea. Now, I'm just like everybody else where I'm like, well, we just had the transfer portal. Why do we really need the draft? But if you really want to shake up with debuts from NXT, whether it's call-ups from NXT, whether it's just overall change, I get it. Because I know that after WrestleMania, you kind of don't want to see the same thing right after. If WrestleMania Backlash told you that you do not want to see anything kind of like what we just saw, I think the draft will be something that really helps kick the gears into anything. The two things I really would like to see is, yes, fresh feuds, but then also I'd like to see the tag team division on both ends, whether it's Raw and SmackDown, really take it to the next level. And yes, I'll even include the women's tag team titles, because right now I would love to see kind of that next I would like to see a depth with that. I do think we're still going to get Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross taking on Liv Morgan or Raquel Rodriguez for the tag team championships. But down the road, I wouldn't mind seeing more tag teams like Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. Like, we haven't seen much of them lately. Why not? They're former champions. They're exciting to watch. There's something you can. They're two talents that need to be on your television. So I'd like to see something between them. I'd also like them to get a tag name, because until then, I'm going to call you KC Square, because I don't know what else to call you guys, because your names are really long. But let me know what you guys have in terms of ideas. I'll put this out in the poll of the week for on Spotify. Who do you want to see switch brands the most after the draft? And I'll leave you a list of people, and you put other and then comment whoever you'd like to see. So that, I think that'll be very intriguing. Also, I'd like to just shout out, if you guys would like to know how you can help support the Chris Parrish podcast, if you're on Facebook, you can always go and you can get involved with comments. You can always go in with shares. You can always go in and send in those little emotes, because we do have all those, like, love, all those little buttons you can click on to show your appreciation. If you're on YouTube, subscription, or things like that, sharing the videos, all that stuff really goes in. If you can, I would love to see a subscription. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you want to see moving forward. If you want to see more shorts, whether you want to see more content, I'd love to know. But yeah, I'd like to help grow this channel that we have a lot. So if you can, please, word of mouth, whatever you can, I'd be very much indebted to that. On the X, obviously, there's nothing much we can do other than just like, follow, subscribe, and all that stuff. I am working on to see if Blue Sky can be more of an available tool down the road. But right now, we're going to stay on the X until we find a viable option elsewhere. So that's the case. On Instagram Live, all you can do is, check us out. Yes, I do now have it available so I can see the comments. You just won't be able to see it on these screens. Through the use of StreamYard that we do use here at the Turnbuckle Studios on the Chris Parrish podcast, we have the chat bar up so we can click a comment and it appears. On Instagram, for whatever reason, those comments do not appear on StreamYard. So they're ones that we have to be cognizant and very much aware of on a different screen. So that is why you've always heard me kind of talk about how much difficult that can be at times, but also why maybe things do get missed. That's just the honesty out of the whole thing. Episode 70 will take place next week, next Sunday at 12:15 p.m. Eastern time. Yes, if you're in the Alberta area, it is 10:15. It's time change, right? It's just what it is. So that is something I'm going to look forward to seeing. I can't wait for that one. I think this was a great episode. Thank you so much for taking the time to enjoy episode 69. Pro Wrestling is Nice with me. Check out my link tree, as you see down below, at linktr.ee/Chris Parrish. That can get you to all my socials, all my platforms, the 5 platforms of Doom, where you can watch the Chris Parrish podcast. That also gives you access to the link of the Spotify account, which, yes, if you can, go there, follow the show, and go to the rate a show button. And if you can, just 5 stars. I mean, it'd be great. I mean, give me the 5 stars there. That would be terrific. I would appreciate that very, very much. Until next week, I hope you guys have a great week, whatever you choose to do. If you want to see me back the next time, I will be back tomorrow for the Raw Patrol. Yes, we still, and this is on me, not anybody else. This is on me. We are working on a thumbnail still. We'll make sure that one is out today, so don't you sweat. We will get one out, but you will see me tomorrow for the Raw Patrol at about 8 p.m. Eastern time. Yes, we all know that Raw is in Europe, so it's not going to be live. These patrol shows, whether it's the Raw Patrol, SmackDown Security Detail, they are a little bit of a shorter show just because, I mean, they're live earlier in the day, and then Netflix here in Canada has trimmed out those commercials or times. So the show is a little bit shorter, but nonetheless, we get more impactful action. So that's very good. And I think that's really helpful on the last month to the road to WrestleMania. But again, until then, until next week, I will say, well, say it's Go Saints because, well, I mean, got to represent, gold. Got a nice black and gold Oilers shirt, and that's fantastic. But yeah, obviously here at the Chris Parrish Podcast, we care about you. So make sure that you remain to be happy, be healthy, because at the end of the day, you matter. See you next week. Take care of yourselves.
We're